I have always felt that game companies exist for their players, but some game companies seem to think that players exist for their company. In the last 8 years, I've quit playing 4 games cold turkey, even though I was heavily addicted to them. Clash of Kings, Overwatch, Teamfight Tactics, and most recently Brawl Stars. 3 of them made the same mistake, which I'll share with you today, and I don't forgive easily. This is Legendary Tactics. Though I'm a board gamer at heart, the line distinguishing digital gaming and board gaming is becoming ever more faint, and I've often had many apps on my phone to pass 5 minutes here and there, so I'll tell you this tale in 4 parts, and I'll share with you the reasons I quit these 4 games. And perhaps there are very good reasons that these companies have committed the sins I'm about to accuse them of, but as a player, my experience is a valid one, and I'm curious if you've ever had the same experience with a game. If you enjoy this kind of rant, let me know by liking the video and subscribing to encourage me to do more. Let's go to the first game, Clash of Kings. The first time I was completely and utterly absorbed into a game was when I played Clash of Kings from LX Wireless. I ended up being one of the biggest powers in one of the biggest clans with multiple accounts, and I'm embarrassed at how much time I spent on that game. I woke up one morning having forgotten to shield my castle overnight, only to find that a massive clan had rallied my castle and there was nothing left. After all the time I'd spent building my empire, it was all gone. Am I a quitter? Well, absolutely not. But this was a really great reason to remove the addiction from my life, and I did recognize that that's exactly what it was. So I quit the game for my own reasons, not because the game company did anything wrong. That was a perfectly valid outcome. I never looked back though. In this case, I learned an important lesson about getting too hooked on a game whose sole intention was to hook me. And I bear no ill will toward the game or the company, but I vowed never to go that deep into another game. And that's why these next 3 experiences are really important to me. So Overwatch is the one I moved on to next. You've likely played it. In the age of patching and game updates, companies began to realize that a game can and must change over time to keep players coming back. So Overwatch started rotating available game modes and introduced the summer games, such as Lucio Ball, which is essentially Rocket League in disguise. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Got together with the other Legendary Tactics lad, and it was a blast. I felt like I had gotten real value from buying this game. So then when they took it away, I felt robbed. That was my favorite part of that game, and now it's gone, only to be doled out at their whim. So if players want the game year-round, why do they limit it to one window in the summer at their choosing? Blizzard seems to think that they get to decide what we play and when we play it. So I tapped out. I don't want to be part of their grand marketing design. I don't want to be a peon or a cog in the wheel that they're creating. Game companies ought to respect their players more and let us decide what we play. And so I moved on to a spin-off from League of Legends called Teamfight Tactics. In fact, for those of you who follow the channel, you might know that we started this channel and named it after League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics. We put the 2 together. I decided that I would go from the basement of this game and work my way up to diamond level. I recorded all the games, we posted them. I made it to the top 6.4% of players in the world, and I was platinum level. TFT then made the decision to run seasons where they toss out all the old characters and they add new synergies and they keep the game fresh. And that's fine. I adjusted with the times and worked with it. Like Overwatch, I felt myself wanting to play previous seasons, but they were completely gone. But that's okay, I adjusted. What really made me bail in this game was finding out that they'd arbitrarily knocked me back from Platinum 1 down 4 tiers to Gold 1. Now, because I was on this quest to get as high as I could to get up to Challenger level, I felt like I'd been ripped off. It felt like I was the mechanical hare at Greyhound races where they kept moving it just out of reach, and when I got too close, they simply sped up the pace car. And I don't want to feel that way when I'm playing a game. I can understand rank decay or having players who don't play slowly rank down, but why punish active players? Riot Games, in attempting to feed my hunger and to max out the ceiling, pissed me off. And so you now have a board game channel rather than a TFT channel. And so I moved on. The last game I need to rant about, and really I understand this is a rant, it's Brawl Stars. This is a fun little game that my kids got me into. I played it for about 2 years. I unlocked all but 4 of the characters, and I had almost all of my characters ranked up to level 10. That's the maximum level, or at least it was. Like other ranking games, Supercell made it much harder to level as your power grew, so the game understandably took a number of years in order to get to the top. But it was still really fun working towards mastering different characters and leveling them all up. But then a few months ago I logged in and waited for the patch and discovered that they'd arbitrarily deranked all of my level 10s down to level 9, and also increased the maximum level to 12. They did a double punishment there. So the lesson I learned with Clash of Kings at the start of this video was not to get too hung up on these games. Not to get so invested in your character growth that you can't separate yourself from the game. And maybe these companies don't realize this. Supercell doesn't seem to understand that when their players spend time in those apps and spend time growing and developing, and then they arbitrarily de-rank us, we have the power never to log into their game again. So adios, Brawl Stars. It was fun. But until you begin to respect and work for rather than against your player base, I will continue to move on to new games that give players the respect they deserve. Now, the next game I moved on to is called Super Auto Pets. It's a mindless digital app. I'm playing it now. It's actually almost a reskin version of Teamfight Tactics with sort of a toddler theme, but I hope they don't make the same mistakes as these other companies. And I'll put a link to my first video on the game strategy right after this, but if you've quit a game cold turkey, please let me know which one and why you pulled the plug in the comments. I'd love to hear. Thanks so much for your time.